Hi, it's Hope and welcome to the video. This is going to be my mid-month wrap-up where I'm going to talk about the first 7 books that I read during the first 15 days of the month. So I'm going to go in order of read to like the first read to the most recent and just talk a little bit about them, talk about what they're about and what I gave the rating and all of that. So the first book I read is The Maiden Ship by Micheline and Ryckman, and this I gave a 4 stars. Also, if I look over here, it's because I have the list of the books I read and ratings. But this, essentially, we follow Dane Alloway, who, when he was 9 years old, I think, his father and him started voyaging on the ship called the Maiden for, like, trading and all of that. And now we are 8 years later. Dane is 17, and I'm trying to figure out what is spoilers. And there is a random girl that shows up in Dane's cabin, and that kind of sets off the plot of magic and exploration of the magic, and that's pretty much all I can say. So this is a kind of like, not pirate, but like it's set on a boat, like pretty much the entire story is set on a boat. And we're learning about this magic system with the character. This magic system has been gone for centuries, and all of that. And again, I gave this a 4 star. I did really like it, and I'm really excited to pick up book 2, which is The Lion of the Sea. But I'm waiting a little bit closer to book 3's release because I know I'm going to need book 3 ASAP, and it's, I think, still being written right now, so yeah. The next book I read was Credence by Penelope Douglas, and I gave this a 4 star. Credence, we essentially follow 17-year-old Tiernan as her parents committed a double suicide, leaving her completely alone. But she finds out that she was given, like, guardianship was given to Tiernan by her Uncle Jake, who she's never met, and lives like halfway across state in a cabin in the woods with his 2 sons, and Tiernan goes and stays with them, and it's very taboo. It's that's all we're gonna say. Again, it's very taboo, definitely something that pushed some boundaries for me that I am not, like, nope. But this was my second Penelope Douglas book, and I'm now, like, dying to read everything Penelope Douglas, no matter how taboo it is, because, like, I, like, love this more than I should have. I kind of read it almost as, like, a joke of, like, an author that I like. It's one of her favorite books. It's one of Dana Isley's favorite books, and I was like, I want to know why she likes it, and now I'm just like, I see why she likes it. It's definitely 18 plus, but definitely 18 plus, definitely taboo, definitely, like, you get what I'm saying. We're just gonna leave it there. The next book I read was The Sky Blues by Robbie Couch. This we follow Sky, who has these plans to ask this boy named Ali out for prom, but then the big promposal ideas that he's been planning get exposed by a, like, mysterious person exposing it, like getting a hold of the ideas, and it is Sky and his friends having to figure out who it is. And then also there's this whole, like, thing, like a whole, like, supportive thing of the school trying to figure out who and trying to support everything, because in the, like, it was an e-blast that sent out the plans. There was both there was, like, homophobic remarks to Sky and then racist remarks to Ali, and yeah, and this I gave a 4 star. I will say the only thing I didn't like about this book was the ending, and because there was this whole thing that set up called the Beach Bum Party, which is, like, a party that happens where Sky was originally going to ask Ali out to, like, to prom, but we never got to see really any of it. And then also prom itself, we didn't get to see any of it. So that's my, like, little disappointment, but I do love the friend group. I love that this was set in a small town because I'm from a very small town, probably about the same size of this town maybe. So like, yeah, I really liked it. 4-star. That's pretty much all I have to say. So the next 2 books that I've read this month are The Princess Will Save You by Sarah Henning and The Queen Will Betray You by Sarah Henning. The Princess Will Save You I gave a 3.5, and The Queen Will Betray You I gave a 3-star. So essentially in The Princess Will Save You, we follow multiple characters, but essentially we have Princess Emeraldne, who, when her father dies and she's supposed to take the throne, but she cannot take the throne until she is married, because that is the rules in this kingdom. But then the love of her life gets kidnapped and she goes after him. And there's a whole lot more, but I can't tell what spoilers, because literally pretty much what I said is all I knew going into this. And even though these were just a 3.5 and a 3-star, they were really fast-paced and really interesting, and I really liked the relationship in it, and the way that we see from multiple point of views, including the villain's point of view, and the villain shifts throughout the books. So you're like, oh, this person's a villain. No, they're not. Oh, they're back to a villain. What did they do? Like, the way it's like loyalty changes and all of that. I will say I wish it was almost in first point of view as well, because I feel like I'm not getting enough of the characters' emotions. But I'm still loving it. I'm still going to read The King Will Kill You, which is coming out next year. I don't know when next year, but I believe it's like middle to end of next year maybe? I'm not sure. The next book is Less by Andrew Sean Greer, and this I gave a 2-star. This I read for a book club that I'm a part of. Like a queer book club for some people in my area, and this was somebody in the group picked this book, and it is a adult story where we follow Arthur Less, who is turning 50, and when he is a author, and when one of his ex-lovers is getting married, he wants to avoid having to go to the wedding at all costs, so he goes on this round trip, this world tour, to do all of these things to do with being an author, interviews. He does a class that he teaches in Germany and all of that, and it's pretty much it's supposed to be him realizing what he wants to do with the rest of his life, but in reality I didn't like it. I gave it 2 stars. I just didn't like it. The writing style was very weird. I didn't like the narrator, because it's told in third point of view from somebody who, in 2 of the chapters, it starts off as where the narrator talking, but then we switch to something else, and then in the final chapter, it's just weird. It dragged on so much. It was I literally kept on being how many pages do I have left? Because I had the ebook, so I was able to see how many pages were left, and I was 10 more pages, oh my gosh. And I didn't like Less as a character, and yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. I would never have picked this up without the book club, because the main character is a 50-year-old man. I'm sitting here, a 17-year-old, the only thing that we have in common is that we're both queer. Queer and white, I guess, but that's literally it, so yeah. And the final book is Ember Queen by Laura Sebastian, which is the 3rd and final book in the Ash Princess trilogy, the first book being Ash Princess. In Ash Princess, we follow Princess Theodosia after, I think it's about 10 years after her country got taken from her, her mother killed, and the Kaiser took control, and Theo, as her nickname, Theo is kind of kept in the palace to kind of almost as a punishment to kind of see what happened to her country type thing, and then a rebellion hits and she joins. Yeah, and this is the final book. I will say I think my favorite is the first book, just because, not that it goes downhill, but I feel there's just a few elements too much. It's a typical like YA elemental magic. There's a love triangle. I will say that like a good like 3 of the side characters are queer, which like highly like I was like, oh. But yeah, I like this is definitely a series I recommend if you're looking for that classic YA elemental magic and all of that. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. I did this very quick because I don't really have much to say about all of these books. But I really hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you've read below, and bye!